Welcome back to the Just As We Are podcast. I am your host, Katrina Lelly. And you guys, today's episode really has me just smiling from ear to ear. I love this woman and I loved the conversation that we got to have. Tara Romano is an inspirational speaker for women empowerment, serial entrepreneur, and YouTube star with over 5 million views of her internationally renowned fitness videos featuring her original choreography and love of dance. She is also the creative director and creator of the Tone and Tease fitness program. And oh my God, you guys, I met Tara at the Mommy Millionaire live event in October. And I will tell you that she is a key person in helping me walk out of that room, out of that event, as a completely different woman. I came home absolutely changed because she shared some of her Tone and Tease program with us at the event. We got to do it. We got to embrace our sexy. We came up with our alter ego. So you're talking to Kiki right now. And oh my goodness, you guys, I loved this conversation with her. She shares her story about, she went back to college. She really loved teaching and wanted to be a teacher, and then found herself in network marketing, which eventually led her to personal development. And, hearing somebody share that be, do, have, you can be, do, and have anything you wish. And I remember hearing that from the same speaker at one time, and it was such an empowering, transformative thing that I had heard. And, the same thing happened for Tara. This episode, you guys, oh my goodness. Ladies, you might want to be sitting by yourselves when you listen to this, and not with the kids. And have your pen and paper out. Be ready to embrace all of this episode. Be open to what Tara shares. It is the most powerful thing that I've done in a very long time. And I'm so glad that I get to share that here with you guys. So hang in there and stay tuned. Welcome to the Just As We Are podcast. I'm Katrina Lelly, certified life coach, aspiring author, lover of people, mama in recovery, and student of life. Each week, I will bring you love, inspiration, the real life stuff people are afraid to talk about, and guests who are willing to shine their light for you. I give you self-care practices and mindset tips to help you shatter the negative stories you tell yourself. Now is the time to step into the beautiful, loved, whole woman you already are. Let's walk this journey together. Welcome back to another episode of the Just As We Are podcast. I'm Katrina Lelly. Tara, thank you so much for being here with me this morning, and I cannot wait to dive into this conversation with you. The ladies are in for such a special treat. We were talking before. You made such a huge difference in my life at the Mommy Millionaire live event. I walked away transformed from the event portion that we got to do with you, and of course the whole event in its entirety, but I totally walked away feeling like I got my sexy back, and it was the most amazing feeling ever.
I love hearing that, Katrina.
Oh, it was so amazing. So I just want to dive in with that. Tell us a little bit more about you, where you're from, what you do, and we can get into that conversation.
For sure. So I'll just give you a brief. I'm a Jersey girl. So I'm here in Asbury Park, New Jersey. I've been in network marketing for about 8 years. And I come from, it's funny because I teach dance. And that's a part of the program, my Tone and Tease program where you met me. But I'm actually not a dancer. Funny story I always tell is like my mom said I would like throw myself on the ground and have a fit when I was like 5 years old, like when I was ready to go to dance classes, just because I didn't like my teacher and I didn't want to go. But I ended up being a cheerleader, and then I just started dancing after that, but was never trained. So when I was doing group exercise, which I started group exercise probably in my 20s at some point, and then I just I started teaching some dance there, and then Zumba came into the mix, and I fell in love with Zumba. I started sharing choreography on my YouTube channel, which was amazing. And I was able to travel literally all around the world teaching that. And then I can go deeper into the story, but I left the gym that I pretty much grew up in, and I created my own dance program called Tone and Tease. And it's literally evolved over time in more ways that I could ever imagine. And each time I do a women's event, I meet beautiful people like yourself who have had such really deep transformations and what it's done for them, because it's not just about the choreography or the song that's playing, even though that's a big part of it. It's about the movement and the meaning and the energy that shifted.
Yes, I absolutely love that. I love Zumba too. I used to do it, go to a class all the time, and I that's one of my favorite dance classes to go to is absolutely Zumba. What did you do before you were Tone and Tease and before you got into the dancing? What was your life like
Yeah,
before that?
we'll go back. Okay, cool. So I come from the restaurant industry. I started washing dishes at 11 years old. I'm like such a worker. I mean, never in my life when I started having W-2 forms, did I ever have less than 3. So I was in the restaurant industry much of my life. I went to college for health and phys ed. And then I went for 2 years and I was a cheerleader, and I had too much fun in college. I actually stopped for a bit and, still bartended. And then I went back at a later age at 29, and I actually finished for my health and phys ed career, all while still bartending and teaching fitness classes. I remember like one year I was taking 19 credits, bartending full time, and then teaching my classes. So it was a lot. And when I finished college, I think I was 31 or 32 when I finally graduated. I think 31. Yes, I was 31 when I graduated. I was looking for a teaching job for 2 years and I couldn't find one. And now I'm still like bartending, I'm hustling, teaching classes all over. And this is when I left that gym I kind of grew up in, and I started creating like renting spaces out and teaching the teachers. I would like carry this boombox in my car and just like drive up and down 2 counties, teaching wherever I could pretty much. And that's kind of like the time where I started network marketing, started sharing my choreography, and everything kind of happened at once. I guess like I was just searching for something, right? Like I didn't want to be a bartender anymore. And I actually did have fun in the restaurant industry, but I was there for a long time. And I vividly remember this one time I was really in the depths of looking for a teaching job and wanted to teach so badly, and I was really good at it. I even created like an electronic portfolio of all like the different ages that I could teach. And I was sitting at one of the young kids came, and I say young kids because I was like 33 at the time and he was 22, and they were hungover from the night before. And I was like, what? Like, what am I doing? I remember looking at the soda gun leaning, and I worked by the beach, which was so beautiful. I was grateful for that. But I'm like, why can't I find something? Like, why do I keep running this like rat race of like, driving from county to county, changing in my car? I was like wearing so many hats. And in that moment is when I kind of made the decision to really learn more about network marketing. Honestly, network marketing was a big shift for me because in network marketing, I learned personal development, which I've heard of, I remember like listening to Dr. Phil or going down the self-help aisles of like the like whatever Barnes and Nobles, but I didn't really understand it. And I remember my first network marketing event, the trainer said, you could be, do, or have anything that you wanted. And I was like, what? I'm like, nobody ever told me that. Like, I don't remember hearing that when I was in college. They kind of put the fear in you of what life was going to look like. And yeah, so that's just a little bit about what led me up into that little change, I guess, for myself.
I love that you brought that up, the be do have anything you ever wanted, because I didn't hear that growing up, and we definitely don't hear it a lot unless you get into the personal development world. But it struck me that you mentioned that we grow up and it's like, or we go to college and they have this plan laid out for us, even though they have no idea who we are, but it's like there's this plan laid out for us and this is the way it is. And they want to put you in a box almost at times. And I love that when we go into personal development, when an opportunity presents herself, and if we're open to it, we get to explore this new possibility. I love network marketing. It's been a part of my absolute growth as well. And so I love that you brought up that be do have, because it is absolutely true. It's something I knew kind of as a little girl in my head, but growing up without the people around you who understand that, it gets pushed down, right? So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So I really want to dive into like what was your mission behind this, and how has the impact had behind your tone and tease? Like, have you been that girl who, felt so unworthy, carried around shame, didn't feel good enough and whatnot? Have you been that client that's walked into your doors for the first time, and what was that experience for you? What was that
Mm.
like?
Yeah, Katrina, I truly feel we teach what we need the most a lot of the times. And I didn't know that I needed this. I didn't even know that other women might have needed this. So the way that Tone and Tease really happened is when I left the gym that I taught at for so long, I was looking for other places to teach. And actually, in the town that I'm living in right now, right down the street, there was this place called Club A. And she was looking for new dance programs. So she said, "Hey, like, I love that you teach Zumba and stuff, but like, can you create like something new and something different? We're looking for like innovative classes." I'm like, okay. So I went home, I went on Google, or I think it was Ask Jeeves at that point. And right, do you remember that? And
Yep.
I find Crunch Fitness. It was one of the places. And I remember doing really fun workouts. I used to love doing video workouts when I was home. So back in the day, and I saw this guy teaching. He was so adorable. He was teaching like this sexy dance fitness class on a body bar, like with a body bar. And I'm looking around the room and I'm like watching. I'm like, that is so fun. I'm like, maybe I could do some like sexy dance fitness class. So hence where Tone and Tease was created. I started off using like a towel. I didn't use really any equipment. Then I added in chairs. Then I added in heels. Like, so this is what happened. I feel that my students taught me what they liked and what was needed. So the affirmations and talking that I do with you now, I didn't do in the beginning. So, um, like, so let's go back to how I've felt my whole life. Yes. Like so much of my life, I quit stuff because I was afraid of looking silly. I struggled with food well into my 30s. I like just was nervous of meeting new women. Didn't like I felt like I couldn't enter a room of successful women. I even felt like this as I started experiencing my own success. And now, having so much experience and wisdom behind that word, like what is success really? Is it in the tangible, right? And I've experienced like even so much and not felt happy. So like, if you're out there and you're like thinking that you're going to be happier when you get the thing, I promise you it's not going to happen if you're not happy in this moment. So anyway, so like the women were starting to show me what they needed, and I was watching them as they would move and they looked in the mirror more and then would take their hair down. So I'm like, let's make this more fun. Let's get ready for this class. Like, let's do our hair and put some lipstick on. Let's put our heels on. I even started to dress differently. And then I started to just, before we even put the music on, I wanted to connect with them because at this point I had started to feel better about myself, like, had a better relationship with food. I was starting to understand confidence and I was dressing differently. So I would come into class with these shiny pants and thigh-high boots. And the woman who might be feeling insecure in that moment didn't know me, so I had to break down that wall. And before class I share about myself a little bit, and I let them know like, um, you might be feeling this, but like I'm going to teach you how to move through it. And then we go into alter ego, which we could talk about in a minute. But I want them to know, like, I understand where they're feeling. Or if I have someone who's feeling super confident, like, how can you show up even bigger, kinder, more loving to yourself and other people? So that's how I start. Then we do like these affirmations. I'm fearless. I'm brave. I'm beautiful. I'm me. I'm a Tone and Tease diva. So we get the energy moving even before the music comes on. This way, like when it does come on, people feel like they can move, because I get a lot of women, I'm not a dancer, I could never do that. But I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's not just dance, it's movement. And we can, if we're all lucky enough, we're able to move our bodies.
Oh, yeah, so good. And I must say that you are amazing at breaking down those walls. You could totally see in the room there at the event that, like, I think sitting down and having the conversation and, sharing with yourself, is you get so vulnerable. You allow us that space to get vulnerable and be open, especially, my experience walking in, I'm not comfortable with my body, and I don't usually dance in public. I'll dance at home with my kids, but dancing in public is a whole different story. And when you break down those walls and you give us permission to just be and be there with you, and it's such a magical transformation that I watched within myself and in that room. You're so good at it, and I just love that you do that.
Oh, thank you. I love hearing, and I feel like for someone who any kind of creation, I think someone makes the feedback is the best because it's you guys who've kept me going. Honestly, like because I've had such challenges with like negative mind noise, like much of my life, like I wasn't really going to move forward with this because I'm like, this is stupid. This is silly. Like people aren't going to like this. It's like, what am I doing? And then my first women's event, I had this woman come up to me crying saying, I haven't had sex with my husband in a year and I'm calling him right now. And that was one of like dozens upon dozens of testimonials that I'm beyond grateful for.
Oh, that gives me chills when you share that story. It's so amazing just how much you're transforming women's lives. So I want to talk a little bit about the alter ego. Share with us about the alter ego. I came home and told my girlfriends all about it, and we all came up with names of our alter ego. So I love this piece of your teaching.
I got chills when you asked me that question because I'm really trying to tap into this a little bit more. And it's so interesting because I've been doing this and I read, and then I found the alter ego book. I forgot who the author was, but if you have the alter ego effect, it's such a great book. But, so this is the thing. We all have, we all have many different sides to ourselves, right? Like, I mean, I can have 27 personalities in a day, depending on how I'm feeling. So I always say like your alter ego that I want you to bring out when you're with me is your highest self. So and you guys can, if you're listening, you can close your eyes and think about this yourself. Like your highest self, like what is she doing when she's her most happiest or feels her most loving or sexy? Like how is she sitting or standing? How is she talking to herself? Who is she talking to? Like what is she wearing? Like how is her hair? Like, how is her body kind of moving? And like sometimes people can't hone in on that, right? Like they still have such a block. So I'm like, all right, who is someone that you admire? That you admire their the energy they exude, their confidence, their sexiness. Because if that's someone else, you see that in them because it's literally in you. You just have to pull it out. So I've noticed that, and this is why I'm kind of honing in on this because when I try to find the name, like some people get really shy and they don't want to express it. So that's why I say like, who's a celebrity or someone, a friend of yours that you know, or you see on social media. So I'm like, use their name until you find your own, because that is you. Like she is you. So like, and then we kind of find that we kind of share, and then I'll have them stand up and like say the name, how their alter ego would say it. Like, maybe add some body movements or a powerful pose. Because, and this is how I want them to bring it home. So there's many times in our life, depending on what part of the journey that we're on, where we might need to have an uncomfortable conversation, or we might have to ask for, the raise or a question, or create boundaries, or we're in our stuff and like we need to shift the energy. You need to tap into your alter ego, but not just tapping in your mind, but in your body. So how could you, like, in order to have that conversation, you can't be curled over like with your head in your hand. Like how can we just sit up or maybe change to the room or walk a little differently to get that energy moving in our body to feel more confident, because energy is always in motion. And if we're going to choose to stay stuck, that's where it's going to stay. So the way we shift it is with not only our mind, but our bodies.
Oh, I love that. And when you can do that and totally embrace it and feel it, like it is amazing how you can feel that your energy just shifts and the people around you will notice it too. And I love that so much. So what's coming for you in this year? Like what's coming? How is Tone and Tease going to grow? What are you looking to do coming up?
So in the actually in like 6.5 weeks, I actually have my own women's event. It's a weekend event. It's called Your Life Unleashed, where I take mindset and movement, and I literally am taking like Tone and Tease, but expanding it and having other speakers in their professions assist me with these women and changing their stories, moving past limiting beliefs, creating intentions, and having fun because we're moving too. So like I'll have a speaker and then we'll do like a movement session. And then the Friday night, we're doing like tons of different movement sessions. So I'm really taking everything that's assisted me in my life and bringing it into the weekend. We did it last year for one day. It was amazing. So that's like my Your Life Unleashed event. But Tone and Tease, I really want to speak on more stages and get like the actual program out for women to experience, and then work on I don't know if I'm going to do a membership site or if I'm going to do like a take home something, but like something where women can have me like in their living room, where if they needed that state change and they needed to just like move differently in their chair, they just have to turn it on and I'm there. Because I think that's really important, depending, like whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you have a business, whether you're working a career and you're out from the day, like you need time to reconnect with yourself and almost flip that switch from career to like that sensual part of you, right? Because like if you have children, they were made from sex. So like if you're not having it, there's a reason. If you're not like taking the time to maybe like put on a sexy outfit or do your hair how you like, where you feel pretty, or maybe put on the lipstick. And this is not talking about what we look like for the physical visually to see. It's how you feel when you do the thing. Mm-hmm. So do you know what I mean? If you like to slick your hair back and keep it in a ponytail and that makes you feel really confident and good, when's the last time you've done that? How are you walking from your car to the grocery store? How are you walking down the grocery store aisle? Like, are you rushing? Are you looking at your phone and thinking about all the to-do lists? Or are you taking a pause and a minute for yourself to really center in on like the beautiful energy that a woman has? We're like really freaking powerful. And I feel we forget sometimes.
We absolutely do. And I love that, that switch you're talking about, and coming from that. I came home and now I do my makeup regularly. I try to do my hair. I have a little bit of an issue doing it right now. I have a frozen shoulder, so it's hard to do that with do your hair with it. But I've been, when you show up and you dress up, like there is a different energy, and I love that. And I tell you what, being that I'm completely on the other side of the States, I'm in Washington, I would love to have you in my living room. And so I would be so excited for something like that to come out. So
I love that.
Love that. What are you currently working on personally to grow yourself this year?
Oh, girlfriend, I am like literally, sometimes I think I'm trying to work so hard into being my best version, because I think sometimes when you have personal development, I've literally been working on myself, like in terms of the personal development world for 10 years. I've had multiple coaches, been to multiple events, spoken on stages myself, but I feel like it doesn't go away. It's always another layer that you're peeling off. And I just went to an event this past weekend and I was just excited because I was like, I'm going to learn so much. Well, the universe is like, nope, you have some crap you need to get through. I literally birthed up an emotion and I'm like, where is this coming from? So it's like, I'm just always looking how I can experience life better. I'm a comparer. I compare often sometimes. And I feel like I was in the state of comparison the past 6 months, to be very honest, because like, just because you start doing the things that you love in life and experience like the things that you want, it doesn't mean that your old self doesn't try to come back in and be like, nope, that's not safe. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. So like, I've really cultivated a strong support system around me, which I'm so grateful for. And I'm able to connect with women like you who support me and how I feel and like, love me anyway kind of thing. So yeah, I'm all about like the self-love and like taking what I need. I actually shared that on my Instagram story today. I like woke up way late. I just came back from a trip. I have another one coming up. I have so much to do. I was so mad that I woke up late, but I'm like, you know what? Let me take a minute, because like I think my body might need something that I'm not giving it because I'm always rushing. So I did. I took time and I feel like so good right now. Like I wanted to feel good for talking to you too. So I knew I needed to like take that time. And sometimes that's just what we need. And I feel like for you moms out there who's like, listen, sister, I got 3 kids and I'm like working full time, but like it doesn't mean taking like so much time, even some breaths, like, doing something for yourself on a daily basis. You'll be surprised like how differently you can show up in life and what life gives you back.
It's amazing what little increments it can do, even 5 minutes, 3 minutes of that time when you just can escape. If you have to escape to the bathroom and lock the door and lock the bedroom door, like if you can escape for those 3 minutes, do some breath work, listen to a small portion of, a visualization or a meditation or a podcast or journal, or just be still, it makes a huge difference. It doesn't have to be a whole half an hour devoted to it whatsoever.
No, I totally agree.
And I appreciate you sharing, your experience around the comparisons. I think so many of us women do that. And it's easy to think when we step up into the world and we're building something and we're building a business and we're around all these amazing women, we've surrounded ourselves with women who are all about community and working on themselves, that we forget that they too go through that stuff. They too still go through the comparison. They too are still human and have all those things come up for them, that they're not perfect. There's no perfect in any, we're perfect just the way we are. And it's important to remember that, because I too get lost in that comparison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that we all do, but it's the pattern interrupt, right? It's like, you're doing it again. Nope. But also that what's helped me is when I see someone and I feel like that feeling and it comes in my chest, it's like you're seeing all of that in them, because there's a piece of you that's like we are mirrors for each other, right? So I think our mind can play tricks on us visually when we see stuff on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so, when you start to dive into that, knowing that, we're mirrors for each other, that there's something going on with that person that I may not like about myself, or there's something going on with that person that I think I don't have. I can't see what I don't have. If I see that person is successful and confident, that's in me too. And remembering that is so important.
Yes, sis. Oh, so true.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Is there anything else that's just on your heart you're dying to share with us?
I feel what's on my heart right now is I know for me there's been such a shift, and I think about how grateful I am for the support system I've cultivated around me, and I know that that wasn't always the case for me when I first started out into this world, and I started changing, rightfully so. My close friends did not like the change, and I almost felt like I didn't have anyone to share how I was really feeling with. So be kind to yourself. That's one of the things I want to say, is be kind to yourself in the process of whatever it is that you're looking to change in your life. Be consistent, because I think that that inner roommate that we have in our mind that kind of gives us that negative self-talk will oftentimes make us stay stuck and not move forward, because it feels good to be safe. There's even times in my life I don't want to do things because it feels scary, but on the other side of that, whatever piece of action that you're willing to take, there is so much goodness. So even if it's just a simple conversation you're not having, that simple conversation can open up to a more amazing relationship with your partner. Asking whatever it is for you, just know that there is another side to however you're feeling in this moment, because I think some of us and I think there's a difference between staying in the victim state of where you're at in life, and then also just knowing that we have the choice to experience life however we want, and it's not always easy, but on the other side is just such an amazing world, and people too, taking that big leap of faith. Actually, and I'm forgetting the authors, but there's a book called The Big Leap, which I loved. I read that a while ago too.
I've heard of that one, but I have not read it yet. I'll have to add it to my list.
Good.
I love that so much. Well, I so appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you have a very busy schedule. Taking time out of your day to come on and share with my audience all of your amazingness and awesomeness. I love what you're doing. I so hope and look forward to having you in my own living room and being in your space physically again, because you have such a beautiful soul and light, and you are impacting so many women. I just get chills thinking about it. And every time I'm dancing in my bathroom in the morning when I'm doing my makeup, I think of you, and I'm just like, yes, girl, yes.
I love it. I remember when you were sending me a couple of videos, one, I think you were picking up a pen or something. I don't know. You were adorable. I was obsessed. And those are my favorite to get. So for those of you listening, I teach women how to walk down the grocery store aisle or pick up a pen in a different way. Maybe there's someone in your office that you think is cute. You have the energy to get their attention.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. Where can we find you?
TaraRomano.com, ToneandTease.com, and I'm and YourLifeUnleashedEvent.com, and then I'm on social media as those as well. So I really stay active on Instagram and Instagram stories, which is like because I love connecting with people via voice note and talking. So that's my favorite right now. And I actually have a YouTube channel where I share some choreography, and that's Tara Romano as well.
Amazing. We can find you everywhere. So go find Tara, you guys. Go check out her stuff. And seriously, you will not regret it. And I just want to tell you, if you loved this episode, please make sure you go head on over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. Share it with your friends. Tag Tara and I. Let us know what you loved about today's episode. And thank you again so much for joining me.
I had a great conversation with you. I'm so grateful that you asked.
Hi, friends. If you enjoyed this episode of the Just As We Are podcast, it would mean so much to me if you would head on over to iTunes and leave me a 5-star review. Take a screenshot of today's episode and tag me at Katrina Lelly on your social media. If you haven't already, head on over to the Just As We Are podcast community on Facebook and hit join, where you will get to join more of the Just As We Are tribe. And remember that no matter where you are on your journey, you are completely whole and loved just as you are.